sure there'll be another chance. Alphonso Davies there. What a story he's been. What a story Bayern Munich have been. So impressive in this competition so far, and they are through to Sunday's final. It will be PSG against Bayern. It is the two European giants meeting each other. I will suggest, though, Keith, they didn't have it all their own way, as Dave said in commentary. Lyon really played their part in that semi-final, didn't they?
I thought Lyon were excellent. Started the game excellently with a game plan that resembled what they normally do. They play a back three, stroke back five when they're under pressure. The three midfielders in front of it really protect that back five, and then up front they've got two players that work very hard, no matter who it is, who comes on. If it's Dembele, obviously Memphis Depay and Akanji started the game, but nullified the Bayern in the first 15 minutes and showed what they have got in an attacking threat and caused numerous problems for Bayern.
They made real chances, and we talked before the game, Niall, about the little chink in Bayern's armour being the high line they play and vulnerability in behind, but Lyon really got in here for very good chances.
Yeah, they exposed it. I think it is too high, you know, and if they can do it, you know, what can Paris Saint-Germain do? Because they broke through it time and time again. There's, you know, the game is 10 minutes old. They've done it 2 or 3 times at this stage. And, you know, it was a bit of a surprise the first time they did it. The second time you're thinking, right, OK. But as it was happening more frequently, and this was the big moment that he can be had. I mean, poor effort right there, but it falls so beautifully for him. He's got to score. He doesn't. It's just so unfortunate for them. But that was, you know, Bayern scraping and getting, you know, sort of really panicky about it all.
And even when Bayern got the goals, then we're 2-0 up. Second half, Lyon still caused them problems.
Still chances. They've got good players. I thought Aouar, who came into the game in the second half, that was a brilliant save from Manuel Neuer. Really read that situation very well, but there was still space to go and play. Aouar was drifting more and more into the left-hand channel. They just didn't have the same type of aggression, unity tonight defensively, Bayern. And they certainly should have scored 1, 2, 3 goals tonight, Lyon. They had the opportunities. You know, we're showing opportunities here, some really good chances, and then you have to think towards what they're going to be facing on Sunday against PSG and the type of players they're going to face against Mbappe, Neymar and Di Maria. Different kettle of fish. They will take the chances.
So what should Bayern do in the interim? Do they say, look, we'll back ourselves to outscore PSG, or should there be changes made defensively?
That's his dilemma, Tommy. We'll soon find out on Sunday when the game kicks off. I think it will be madness if they go with the exact same game plan. I think it's very simple. If the opposition have time and space to find passes in beyond that very, very aggressive high line, you have to drop. There's personnel within that back four are not comfortable playing that way. In particular, Jerome Boateng. You look at the pace of Alphonso Davies, that gets them out of precarious situations at times. But as a team, they need to tweak it a little bit. They need to be very respectful of what they're going to face.
Even if they say that's got us this far, what, 10? No team's ever won 10 games in the Champions League in a row. 42 goals scored, only 8 conceded. Why would we change now?
Well, if they don't change it, they'll get punished. It's as simple as that. And then you're getting into a situation where you're fancying either stopping at source, stopping the passes from the likes of Paredes, Marquinhos, stopping it, getting in their faces and outscoring the opposition. But I think if they get the balance right, they can do it on Sunday, but it's a big if in terms of what they do and how they set the team up.
But don't think it's just really turning the throttle down a little bit on the high line. They don't have to be so exaggerated, and they've got to be in a position as a back four at times, you know, to just drop at the right time. And there was a couple of times, you know, tonight when it just felt Lyon player got it out of foot, they're looking up and they're still holding the line.
Yeah, so they got a...
And a clever run from a fast player, well, there's plenty of them in PSG. It might just cause big trouble.
Mr. Mbappe will be licking his lips, won't he? Alas for Lyon, Toko Akanji hits the post in the 16th minute, I think. Less than a minute later, the ball's in the net, thanks to Serge Gnabry.
Yeah, cruel game. They literally were brilliant in the first 15 minutes and didn't look like there was a lot on. And Gnabry runs across the box. The one thing I would say is we don't see the heroism that we've seen on the tackles, the last gasp tackles that have been a feature of Lyon's involvement for the last couple of weeks and in the victories that they've had. They let him run across. It's a wonderful touch. I'll talk about how good the goal is in a minute, but just on the defensive side, lots of blue shirts there, but they don't lay a glove on him. They all kind of stand off him a little bit. It's not their usual way.
For them,
it's very unusual for them, but let's go back now to the ability of the player to score the goal. That was frightening. What a goal. It was incredible. And then to be as sharp, you know, to pinch the ball off Cornet there, not only just to lay it out, you know, for the cross, but to come in and see, is there any scraps? There might be something there for me. And he wanted it more than Cornet, who he'd nicked the ball off earlier. And you know, fair play to him. He's as hard-working a player, as skillful a player. Everything he does at a you know, at an unbelievable breakneck speed. But it's controlled, and he's had a season of all seasons.
Yeah, a bit like the last night against Barcelona. His pal, the man with all the goals, Lewandowski, had to wait a little bit to get his goal. He did get it. Goal number 15 in the Champions League this season, 2 behind Ronaldo's record. What kind of night did Lewandowski have?
Mixed bag, frustrated. A lot of that was down to the way Lyon set up and marshalled them very, very well. Should have scored on this occasion. Should have scored when Gnabry cuts one back here, chops it in. Brilliant cross. Whether he gets taken away by the goalkeeper's movement here, but he normally just pops these away, doesn't he? So he looked frustrated. They couldn't feed him regularly with the type of service he would normally become accustomed to.
He's getting away with one there.
Summed it up at the time, but like all very, very good players, he kept plugging away. He kept trying to lead the line, trying to do the right things, and when another opportunity did come his way, he took it with some
It just wasn't always happening as smoothly for Bayern tonight, was it?
No, but I don't think it happened for Bayern in general as smoothly.
This is Niles' part.
This is the goal.
Oh, what a goal. I mean, this is just watch him there. He pushes his man, gets his 3 or 4 yards. He's up against Marcel, who's the biggest, tallest player, best header of a ball. But what was brilliant about that, there was a number of things, but to start with, he got his 3 or 4 yards. He knew the ball wasn't going to come where he was standing, so he leans into his defender. He gets away. It's textbook stuff. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. He's got lots of attributes, but this is just one of them in the air. He makes the 3 yards for himself. He knows the ball is going to come this way. He now gets up in the air. Meanwhile, the big centre-half can't get out, can't really get hold of him. Now, he's a lot more to do. He's got to jump. He's up high, and he's now got to get the power. He's got to, have that twist in his midriff that gets the power on the ball, heads down in the corner away from the keeper. And this is in the 88th minute when you're having a bad game, and he can do something like that in a crowded penalty area. I mean, the guy is a genius. And
you enjoyed that one?
That was my favourite bit of the night.
That one, moment of the season. Keith, so you're going to explain maybe why Bayern weren't as rampant as they were against Barcelona, why Lyon made it harder for them.
Yeah, look, I think when you look at Barcelona and the way they shaped up, we picked holes in it the other night when we were watching the game. Look at the space that you've got here. Barcelona are a team that is obsessed with what they do in possession. There's real flaws in how they set up as a team. There was so much space for Bayern to go and operate. You could see the awareness and the electricity flowing through the veins and the vibrancy. Look at the run in beyond. The space is there.
There's no line, is there? There's no line.
Shocking defending. Then the awareness to pull it back into an area. Where's the midfield? Where's the urgency getting back in? Not quite there. Look at the recovery runs of the Barca shirts, and in contrast that with the willingness of Bayern, the white shirts, to get forward. Look at the energy. Look at the pace. The desire to get forward, the options that Lewandowski had. Should have picked out a better one, but in the end, it actually works out really well for him. Now, they've got so many strings to the bow in terms of how they try and attack. But then contrast that now tonight. Look at Lyon, back 5, midfield 3. Solid.
Working in that line.
One midfielder out, back 5 doesn't change. Other midfielders 2 narrow up. Then they look to counter-attack. Memphis Depay, the pace he has. This was the game plan. And look at the time on the clock. Trying to do it in the right way. That's very familiar to the way they set up. And Lyon did it so effectively. Bayern were slightly frustrated, weren't as slick in possession, and it was tough for them to break it down on.
Yeah, I just feel when you're as organised as Lyon were, and I think you'll find it'll be better from PSG as well than Barcelona. Barcelona were all over the place. Yeah. You could see there was no link up between a 4 or a 5, whatever way you're going to play it. Everybody's just doing an individual job. Will I run in here? Maybe it's going to come here. Maybe there was no organisation, and so they just picked off Barcelona time and time again. But they had to work very, very hard. You can see they're frustrated trying to play diagonal balls. It was not simple for them tonight because, particularly the three that Denaye, Marcel, and Marca, they work in a brilliant tandem, and they make sure that their 2 wing-backs, when they need them, are in that line of 5, and then they let them go forward. It's an art, and it's a very important defensive art. It was non-existent as far as Barcelona are concerned, and I think the thoughts of Bayern coming along tonight and scoring another 8, well, it was never going to happen with that organisation. I think they will score. against PSG because they're too good not to score a goal.
Yeah,
but it's going to be hard work for them to break it down.
Do we have a better perspective on Bayern now? I mean, we know they're still a good team, but did the Barcelona game flatter them a bit? Like, they're not quite...
No, I don't think it flattered them. I thought they were that good. They deserved that type of victory.
But you've just shown acres of space against
But Barcelona still caused problems for them. So Barcelona could have scored a couple more even. So there's defensive flaws. If you give them time and space to play and operate in areas where they want to go and play, the likes of Muller in between lines and Lewandowski leading the line, the wingers time and space, then with fullbacks joining in, then they're going to destroy you. But what they're going to face against PSG is a back four that is very well drilled and a midfield three very similar to that midfield three of Lyon, the way they work together. Marquinhos is the middle one, who will go either side. We're not entirely sure whether Verratti will be fit enough to play, maybe, but it will be very well protected. And then what we've seen is, from PSG, a unity, a team spirit. Even from the big boys, Neymar in particular, digging in, knowing what's at stake, knowing what he needs to do for the team, not just being obsessed with Planet Neymar. It's for the team. So it's going to be an intriguing one. I do think Bayern need to tweak things for Sunday. I really do.
But it's a brilliant sort of psychological game of cat and mouse between the coaches, isn't it? Because, you know, Keith, you were saying earlier that they need to tweak their defensive approach and be a little less cavalier and be respectful of who they're playing against. But then Flick has to wonder, maybe, would that be betraying who we've been this season? On the other hand, Tuchel the same. How cavalier will PSG be? Well,
I think if Tuchel gets his troops, you know, performing off the ball the way they did the other night, then he's got a great chance. Because when you got them leading from, when you got Di Maria, Mbappe, and obviously Neymar, and they're pressing, they're putting all the pressure on, and there's a different type of pressure being put on the Bayern defence that they didn't have at any stage, then that'll be a great starting point for them. And then when you know, as they do get up the pitch and the ball goes up there, it's the way that they get up, and if Bayern are going to hold that line, that it must be a dream come true. They're like, okay, so, you know, when they do come up there, I think our best, you know, when I look at it, I mean, it's not rocket science this, but as Bayern might be at their most vulnerable when they're actually attacking.
Because of that turn over the ball. Because some of the ones you showed there, you know, like if Mbappe got those chances down that left-hand side, I mean, it's
only probably going to be one outcome, isn't it? Let's be honest. I don't think PSG need to drastically change what they're doing. I think their model is set up quite well. I think as long as they get the front three buying into the defensive aspect a reasonable amount of time. But I do think, and it's not like we were saying earlier, it's not like Bayern Munich need to turn into Atletico Madrid, camp on the edge of their 18-yard box. I'm talking drop 5-10 yards, and that makes a big difference to the space between Manuel Neuer and that back four.
I tell you what, it's a bit harsh because you have to get your thinking caps on before Sunday and really think about it. But who do you think is going to win at this stage? What's your gut tell you, lads?
My gut is if Bayern tweak it, I'm going with Bayern because I think they've got more strings to their bow. That's if they tweak it. If they play the same game, then I'm going with PSG.
Do you know, I kind of made my mind up when I saw the German players look at each other after the game and go, well done, yeah, we're where we're meant to be. We'll finish it off at the weekend. I like that. You know, there's no celebration there. I think the PSG players last night were jumping about.
It was a bit more.
Yeah, we're giddy. They were giddy.
Yeah.